Alright, welcome back. Another quick episode here of ABO Adventures, America Backwoods Outdoors. So what we're doing here is I just took a quick ride up one of the properties that we can hunt. I'm going to check some cameras, check on some food plots that were put in about 3 weeks ago on another property, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to ride back in the same day. So it's about 2.5 hours to get up here, so I left early this morning. So we're just going to go take a look, pull some cards, check on the food plots, and we'll see what happens. Do a little bit more scouting as we go, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit later in the episode about, summertime practice as far as shooting our bows and stuff like that. So stay tuned and check it out. Alright, coming up on camera number 1 here. This camera's set up in a doe bedding area, kind of just like in a little opening. Actually spooked a couple does coming in, so probably gonna pull this camera now because we're getting later in the summer and move it more towards like a fringe. That's that way I don't have to come trudging through here every time I want to check it. I've only checked this camera once all summer, so figure I'll pull it out now that we're getting a little closer to the season, and I'll put it somewhere it's a little easier to access. I don't disturb so much. But so got the cameras just right there on the tree, and it's just watching this little opening in the bedding area. So one down, on to the next one. Alright, here we are, camera 2. This is set up on the kind of a, not real big, but it's a hardwood flat that it's got a lot of oaks and a couple beeches on it. And that's the thing, when you can get a year where the oaks produce, it's real hit or miss up here. I would say 75% of the time they don't produce anything, but when they do, food plots are great, but you can't beat a natural food source like a mass crop like acorns or beech nuts. So hopefully this year, I've been looking with binoculars up in the trees. I've been seeing some clusters, and there's a lot of green ones on the ground from the storms. So, and I can hear some of the beech nuts falling around the big trees. So hopefully this year we've got some good mass crop dropping and we can hunt this flat. All right, well, just pulled card 3 and had to walk right by the one food plot we put in. Disappointed to say the least. It's going on 4 weeks here, and this one just did not take whatsoever. So not sure why. It was rough ground. I mean, obviously it's never been planted before. It's on top of a mountain, but we've done all that before, so gonna have to figure out why it didn't take at all. There's little bit of ryegrass popping up, but nothing. So may have to have a video on how to save a plot last minute before fall. There's some ways to get around it. There's some stuff you can plant in September and it'll shoot up real quick. Like maybe something green to hunt over during the hunting season. Something for the deer to eat through, the winter, some type of winter weed or something. And then we'll have to try it again next year. Unless it shoots up here in the next couple weeks, but I'll be back in 2 weeks. And if it doesn't look any better, I'm probably gonna overseed it anyway with some oats or some winter wheat or something like that. So I don't know if I didn't get good enough seed to soil contact or what, but definitely rough. So I can I'll flip the camera around here and show you. So you can kind of see here, pretty much nothing took. That green patch there is weeds, so don't get too excited. So, and it took a little bit up in there, and deer have been nipping it off. So stand was hopefully going to go in that big tree there, or this bushy tree over here. There may not be a stand anywhere. So alright, well, on to the next one. Alright, I think I got the next spot for this camera. You can kind of see here, I don't know if you can see that trail right here. Oh, right here. So that's a pretty good one, leading back up into this stuff like I said. So the nice thing about this one is the logging road is right here, so I can just kind of sneak in, grab the camera, and sneak back out, and nothing should ever know the wiser. So we'll set this cam and move on. So one thing I like to do, especially when I set up on these natural trails and stuff and I don't have anything to hold the deer there for the picture, is I'll always set the camera up on a 3-shot burst. So it snaps 3 quick pics as they're walking by, because the deer probably won't stop in front of the camera. So it might get me, you know, a couple slight different angles as it's walking. And I leave the delay pretty short, so if there's 2 deer walking together, it doesn't miss the second deer. Just something I try and do. Whether it works or not, I guess I'll never really know, because any missed deer I won't see, but it seems to work pretty good to get pictures of deer as they're walking by. Alright, good to go. I'm gonna come up and check out this next food plot, so we'll see. Okay. This one's a little better. Still not 100% what I was hoping for, but let's see if we can show you guys here. So, got some green sprouting, so alright, little update on the plot. This one I am not pleased with either. It's very spotty, but I'm not sure why they're not coming up the way I thought they would. So alright, well, put a camera on this tree here. Down in here doesn't look bad, down where I came into the edge of the woods here. So this is almost how I was hoping it would all look. So I don't know why down here took so well and up there didn't, and this gets a lot of shade down here, so I don't see why this would do better. But so I threw a camera on it, see if anything starts to come out in it. You can see the alright, so did a little bit of scouting this morning. Just want to talk a little bit about the setup for this year. This is a new Bear Moment. I got this last year actually. 70-pound limbs, QAD Ultra Rest, HTX Rest. Arrows I'm using this year are a 340 spine FMJ, 30 inches long. Comes right around in at 500 grains, the whole thing, when built, so right around 290 FPS. So should have no problem passing through pretty much anything that I hit. So just want to talk a little bit about, you know, what we do this time of year as far as practice. You know, I know a lot of people have their own way of doing things, but I like to practice pretty consistently further than I'm going to shoot in the field. So like 30, 35 is where I want to be at. You know, furthest I'm going to shoot in the woods, maybe 40. So I'm practicing consistently at 50, 60, just to make those shots feel easier. So it's pretty much the setup for this year. And hopefully we'll get some blood on it come fall. And alright, so here we are, my last group of the day at 60 yards. So these 4 I'm pretty happy with. It's about the size of a fist. This one here got a little out of pocket, so I'll get him out of there. We'll leave that one there. So, like I said, a month away from the season, if I can get, you know, 5 arrows about the size of a fist at 60, I'm more than comfortable at 30, 40, you know, in a hunting scenario. So thanks for checking in, and stick around for the next episode of ABO Adventures.